Welcome to Have an Opinion, an exciting episode on tap for you today. We also have a lot on the menu. It is Nick's Choice, my choice episode, because we are going to be diving into the things that I enjoy, including a review of one of my favorite movies. We're going to talk about one of my favorite songs by my favorite band, and we're going to take a swig, a few swigs actually, of my favorite soda pop. That's right, all of that and more coming up next on Have an Opinion, you freaks. And welcome to Have an Opinion, Nick and Kyle, back behind the microphones, as always. Kyle,
it's me.
It's all about me today.
That's right.
We're talking about my favorite thing.
Didn't show up.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, we will have Kyle's choice next week or in 2 weeks, whenever we can record again. But yeah, I was at work and I said, wouldn't it be cool? Because as alike as me and Kyle are, some of our favorite things, some of our interests are kind of different.
Sure.
But I think a main thing that keeps the friendship going, the blood pumping through the friendship, is that we respect each other's opinion and what they like, and we entertain it from time to time. Kind of like what we do on this show. But today it is my choice. We're going to talk about my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies. I'll talk about that when we get to it. We're going to talk about my favorite song by my favorite band, as we talked about. And then, actually, probably not my favorite song, but you'll get into that too. We're really killing it today. And then we're going to drink my actual favorite soft drink. We're going to do well, Kyle, you can tell me what we're doing here. Because although this is my favorite pop, soda, soft drink, beverage, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So we don't offend anybody who calls it pop, whatever. What's going on here?
So, it's all started with, I think you sent it to me, but I had seen it already, about, I think it was like Mug and Bargs, and it was kind of Barks. I say it.
Oh, yeah, their Civil War thing.
Yeah, and it was
their
like
Cold War.
You never see any advertisements for these three, yet they're always like quietly going at it. You know what I mean? And I was like, I wonder what is the best root beer, because like I watch a bunch of those videos where people like, what's the best this, what's the best that, and I was like, well, I know you're a root beer guy, so went to a local gas station, found one of each. I don't even know Stewart's. I've heard of. I think if we would have went,
that's like the glass bottles.
I was just gonna say, if we would have tried
an IBC or whatever they call
IBC,
it?
that's another one. My dad's root beer is a popular one.
Oh, I didn't know your dad was in the business.
Sioux Falls or Sioux City, I think, is the third. Either way, these are the three most popular, three plastic, most commercial. So I figured, well, we'll pour them out. We'll have a blind test. You can. The reason I put these up front is now you can say, oh, this one's the best, and put it in the number one, and then I'll reveal, oh, it's actually so-and-so. Now, full disclosure, I don't like root beer.
Wow.
We've talked about before, but I'm not a root beer guy. I like pop. I like caffeine a lot. But yeah, so I'm curious to see which one I'll pick just out of like the best of the worst, and maybe I'll change my mind about the old RB. And then you said your favorite coming in is
A&W. I think A&W naturally tastes like a root beer float.
Gotcha.
I don't think that's a flavor either of the other two.
And I've heard that like one of them's sweeter. I think Barks has the bite to it.
Maybe.
I know it's the only one with caffeine.
But that's not the one with the dog on it, which makes it ironic that it's the one that has the bite. I think my top three going in would probably be A&W, Mug, Barks.
Oh, so you're putting caffeine at the back.
Probably.
A little interesting. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. We're going to talk about me. Number one, my, the whole show. Toby Keith reference for those of you that don't get it. But
Bargs is Coke, Mug is Pepsi, and A&W, I believe, is Dr. Pepper brand. I could be wrong. Bargs is 100% Barks. Gosh. Barks. Like the dog. Barks.
Bark.
Yeah. It's definitely Coke. I think Mug is Pepsi. Also, this is the bottle design of all of Pepsi and Mountain Dew, and then A&W's on its own. However, Dr. Pepper also has this bottle design, so I'm not too sure. But there's a little fun fact, a little history for you.
Wow, a history lesson. So the whole thing's about my favorite things. I go back and forth between Dr. Pepper and root beer, which is my favorite.
Sure.
For a while, I had cut out pop completely.
Yeah.
Just because on all the meds I'm on and how hard it is on my kidneys and whatnot, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
No one cares. And I had a kidney stone. So I cut out pop. I probably drink it like once a day now, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's like one of those things you get, you're like, damn it, what is wrong with me? I have no self-control.
Oh, you're better than I am.
I go in the mirror, and I start punching the mirror, and there's glass shards in my hand. It's like a really painful scene to watch from a movie. But yeah, I'm excited to see which one of these ends up as number one because I'm so set in my ways going into it
Right.
that now it's just going to be embarrassing if the results provide to be different once we've actually tested them.
Well, that's why these are so fun too, because it's like from what you said, you'd probably always buy A&W because why would you ever buy Mug if you know you think A&W is your favorite? So that's
the thing is,
cool
we
thing
have
about
Mug
it.
all the time because that's usually what's on sale or whatever.
Oh,
So
yeah.
my parents always buy Mug. So I like to think blindly. Mug's probably the one I'm most likely to get.
Oh.
Just going,
Right.
yep, I think this is Mug. But I drink the. You probably question how often do you actually drink each one of these?
Yeah.
So I don't know how confident I am in the fact of, oh yeah, this is definitely this one. This is definitely this one.
And it's tough too because like there's no like what other pop flavor could you use these for other than like grape soda?
Yeah.
And what would that be? Fanta, Crush, and what's the other one? Sunkissed. I hate Sunkissed. Sunkissed is
Yeah.
the Coke brand and it's bad.
Right.
Oh, maybe we could do that. Grape soda,
Perhaps.
Orange soda.
Me and you just pounding our bodies for your entertainment at home. Yeah. But why don't we get into it? So we're mimicking each other's drinks. So we're going to be
Right.
drinking the same one at the same time.
Sure.
Yellow cups won. We ran out of matching cups. Yellow cups won. Green cups are one. And then we have what I'm referring to as the mega cups. Kyle has the big glass
I
one.
don't know-
I have Mr. Smiley Face here.
Would you? No, I'll keep it. I don't know why I didn't give you the big glass, but oh well.
You're a guest. The guests always get
Sure.
the better things. So we're gonna take this yellow cup here,
Yellow first.
and
all
we're
right.
gonna have. I have a palate cleanser. This bottle of water. Kyle's just got.
I don't think I'll need it. I'm just.
Kyle said he's not a little baby back bitch like I am, and we're gonna see what happens.
It smells like.
Here we
smells
go.
Like root beer smells.
Oh, I know which one this is. Hang on. Nice ASMR for the people at home. I'm pretty sure that's Mug.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure that's Mug.
I won't know
Actually,
until I
that might
taste
be-
another. See, I'm doing this more for.
To torture himself for all of you at home. So be sure to hit subscribe, like, leave a 5-star review.
I'm doing it more like one if I ever have to drink one, but like, because I know what they are.
If he
I
ever
made
gets
the sticky
kidnapped
notes.
and needs to drink one against his will.
I'm just curious. Like, I'm saving some in each. That way, I can go and be like, okay, that one's worse. Okay, that one's
Yeah,
bad. You know what I mean?
there's
That's
going to
what
be when
I'm
we go
doing.
back and I really thought that was Mug, but now I'm wondering if it's Barks and I just got cocky. Or maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know.
And you won't know until
I
the
won't know
end.
until I slap that cup on the end of this table at its podium spot like it's the Olympics or something.
So of what you like out of root beer, how is that? Is that like, man, that's a great root
It's
beer?
good.
That's
It's good. None of these I dislike.
Okay.
I just like some better than the other.
Okay.
I've only probably had a bottle or two of root beer where I'm like, yuck.
Okay.
And it's when you go to a restaurant that thinks it's some cool wilderness woodsy themed place and they have deer mounted on the wall and they give you a bottle of it and then you take 4 sips and it's gone because most of it's fizz. But yeah,
Okay.
sometimes that's the really good way to go though.
Oh yeah. Well, and what stinks too is like I've had root beer floats with Coke and Dr Pepper because those are like, other popular colas and they're horrible. But people love root beer floats and I'm like,
You got to
like,
do
I wish
like
I was
Orange Crush or something if you're not doing root beer.
Ooh, I've never tried
Then it
that.
tastes like an orange vanilla twist like you would get at Sarah's
okay.
and it tastes good.
All right, I'll have to try that because Coke and Dr Pepper do not go with vanilla, and you would think they would, but not ice cream.
Well, Coke vanilla doesn't even taste like...
I don't like that.
I
either.
can't. Some people have said it's their favorite pop that I know, and I go, how? I can't even taste the vanilla. It tastes like Coke. Coke tastes like pure sugar.
It's really got a weird. I don't know. Coke vanilla is weird.
But let's see what
We'll go to
big
the
cups taste like. Yeah, that was almost a good transition, but it was a little too late.
Smells similar to the first. Smells like root beer to me.
Ooh, that's some Barks action. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure this is Barks.
Almost like medicine.
Wow, that's a cruel thing to compare that to.
Okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure we got yellow cup is Mug, big cup is Barks, which means green cup's A&W. That's what I'm thinking.
All right. I'm gonna take a So while you take a sip, I'm gonna take a moment to just. I'll drink more of them, but my gut. I've tried not to laugh. My gut reaction is the first one is better than the second one. Again, I'm no aficionado. That second one has just a weird, like, it tasted better initially, but the aftertaste on the second one is much more like.
I get what you mean.
Funky.
I don't know why you're acting like you're being force-fed something disgusting over there. It's not that bad.
I've been looking forward to this because, like, I love doing stuff like this. It's just, it's weird to me because, like, when you go to a restaurant with me, like I was telling you, I'll just be like, oh, I want Dr. Pepper, and then they give you root beer by accident, or like you go through the drive-through and you get root beer by accident. It's like, well, I'm not going to go all the way back just for
right.
And I always try to just force myself to drink it, but one, I never know what kind of root beer it is, and two, I always give up.
Right. I've been getting Dr. Pepper a lot when I go out.
Dr. Pepper's just
or lemonade.
It's so good.
I treat root beer like a delicacy. I don't know why. But since I can't actually drink, I guess
I should have went to Cracker Barrel and got like their nice glass bottles. And like, let's see what the best antique really is.
All right, so that takes us to the green cup.
The third.
The green machine.
Wow, it smells just like the first dude did.
Oh, yep. I think I'm 100% right. Not trying to get cocky.
Nope.
Usually when I'm cocky, it's just being a character, but I'm pretty sure I know what all three of these are.
That one's almost got like a mint. Am I weird for thinking there's like minty flavor in
That's
these?
the vanilla kicking in from it.
Is that what it is?
Because this is 100% A&W. That's the little vanilla kicking in.
A little bit of that vanilla? It almost has a toothpaste taste to me, and I think that's probably why I don't like it, because I don't associate this flavor with like I like Dr. Pepper. If I was thirsty, I'd go crack one and like chug it. I don't associate this flavor with something I could chug, like stomach ache. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you get the sugar belly, which you also get from Dr. Pepper. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a chuggable pop to me. Soda, for those who are not from the Northeast.
It's a real problem that I just drank all three of these in a row, and I could tell you what's different about each of them. That's horrible. That's terrible.
No, it's not terrible. I could do that with, well, see, there's not a lot of pops you could do, because I would say like, oh, we should do Coke, Pepsi, and RC, but it's like, gosh, that would be so easy.
I think RC is the best of those three. Not gonna lie.
I've only had it a few times. I've never had a can of RC Cola. Like I've never been like. Shh.
Actually, that's a good point. I think I've only had the bottles, like these size bottles of it.
What we could try, and I've heard, so Pepsi was invented after refrigerators were more common, and it was invented to be drank cold. Mm-hmm. So apparently, if you drink Pepsi cold and you drink Coke warm, because Coke was out before then, warm Coke and cold Pepsi apparently taste the same.
Huh.
Blind taste test.
I've
which
never heard of that
seems wild because like
I'm trying. Yeah,
but the only thing is you would know because one would be cold and one would be. So you would know right away.
Be a little bit of a giveaway.
Yeah, but I wonder if you'd be able to like put that aside and actually be like, yeah, they taste the same. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is Kyle's phone's whistling Yankee Doodle Dandy at him again.
Whistling Dixie. Which we'll get to.
But here's my thought process. If you want to take your practice sips, go ahead and take your confirmation sips of which is the best one.
Yeah, I'll do that.
It's a shame that the A&W is not in the biggest cup.
Oh, that one's so bad. I don't know why. So
this is gonna be so funny if I'm wrong. A&W got that little bit of vanilla that you think is mint or something. I don't know how. Not being judgmental. Beautiful, well executed root beer. In the middle here we got Barks. I don't know if anyone's ever had one of those hard candies that's shaped like a barrel and it's root beer flavored. That's exactly what Barks tastes like, and it's pretty good. Like I said, I don't not like any of these, but I don't like drinking Barks for a long period of time. Like I don't want to sit and nurse a Barks root beer. I just want to drink it and get it over with. Whereas an A&W, almost the warmer A&W gets, the more it tastes like a root beer float. And then you have Mug. And the more I drink this Mug root beer, hang on.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The more it just tastes fake compared to the other two. Not in this worst way, because for the second time in 20 seconds, this isn't bad. It just doesn't taste as authentically root beer-like. Put that on a t-shirt as the other two.
I'll give you that.
So this one's going to be third.
I'm
pretty sure this is Mug.
Okay.
This one's going to be third.
You put yours up there.
Did I say Mug was second or third when I was predicting what it was going to be going into it?
Oh,
we probably should have written that down somewhere so we could go back and laugh at
what you said was going to be the best. I think you said You said you drink Mug a lot, so you may inevitably put it first, but I think you did these two as 1 and 2, and Barks probably is third.
Okay, well, whatever it was, Mug is third now.
You're putting that as third.
Yes.
Okay.
Watch it be A&W, and I just go, what?
I'll put mine, I think that one's my least favorite.
Kyle's Big Cup, which I think is Barks. Barks is going to be my second.
Your second, okay. See, my question, it's tough because I really thought I was going to come in here and be like, you know what? One of these is different enough for me to be like, I could drink a bottle of that. I don't know if I can even finish my little cups. The problem is, this one, what you're saying is the worst. I do agree. It's got a little less, and I think that's why I like it, because it's I can almost be like, like
that's completely understandable,
though.
It's not like it's some wacky thought process.
Right. It's almost like
the lack of the strength of it makes you enjoy it more.
Like Sprite and Mountain Dew, obviously they're two totally different, but it's like one of them is totally less, sugary,
punchy.
Right. Do one more.
Kyle's gonna sniff it. He's gonna put a little dab on his finger and lick it.
Oh my gosh, I can't have any more.
He's in pain over there.
I was so excited. I mean, I've been thinking about this all day at work, just because it's fun. How often do you do stuff like this?
He's been dreading it.
I was so amped, thinking like, today's the day I grow up. I'm gonna turn into a root beer guy. No.
Well, I'm gonna put A&W first while we're waiting, because everyone knew anyway.
All right. I will.
So you're putting Mug as first and A&W as second.
Well, yeah, I'm putting that. The reason you don't like it is the reason I do like it. That's just because it's a little less bitey.
It's funny that I asked you if these were in the order that we drank them in.
I said they were not.
Was the reverse order, and then this is how I actually ended up ranking them. In going into it, I think this is what the ranking looks like, the way you have them set out on the table.
Oh, that is funny, and that's okay. Well, I'll move mine back because mine don't really matter.
Well, of course they do.
I'll keep them in the shop.
Arguably, this is more entertaining to watch from your perspective because you don't know what you're doing and you don't enjoy it. And I've said, this is this one. Now, if I get this wrong, that changes that dynamic. But for now,
I'm gonna peel the stickers and then I'll put the bottles, and you'll see the bottles. The stickers don't worry about.
So Kyle's peeling stickers. You at home are looking at them right now if you're watching the YouTube video, and I'm not. So you already know if I'm a big goof or not heading into this. Now, I can't read Kyle's body language right now or his facial expression and say, is he baffled that I got them all right or not? Barks, second. Okay.
I feel like that one, you hit the nail on the head. Gosh, I do not like that one. That one is... I saw, like, looking online at, like, most popular flavors and just, looking around and stuff. People say that one has more bite, and it's got caffeine in it.
That's what it... I think I completely... You said that earlier, and I was like, what did he mean by bite? But now that you say it, and I compared...
It's different than the other two. The other two are really close.
And I compared it to the candy barrels of, like, root beer, and I think that's really what it tastes like, and I think that's the bite that you were referring to.
Yeah.
Because it just hits you.
Exactly.
It's not like a smooth kind of... Root beering. Third. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, is it a fake out? Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
What's very interesting about all of this is I actually mixed them up myself, and I thought this entire time you've been not like talking crap, but saying you don't like this one. I'm like, that's A&W. I did A&W first. I would have bet money I did A&W first. But we didn't. And you're right.
So I was right in guessing them all, which I'm not trying to gloat or anything. That's almost kind of sad. But I am also impressive. Proud of myself that I knew what they all tasted like, considering they're all root beer.
That's very impressive.
So that makes your rankings Barks in third, A&W second, Mug first.
Right. I like Mug because it's not too strong. A&W's a little stronger, so I put it at second. Barks a little too bitey with the barrels on the logo. Yeah. Okay. That's how I fall.
I respect it.
I'm impressed. I really thought, because you kept saying, "Oh, Mug is bad," as you would take a sip, and I was like, "That's A&W."
Kyle said, "I'm going to make this guy look like such a doofus on his own." The episode dedicated to him.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that would have been.
He's going to look like such a clown.
A goofball.
But for once, I evaded the clown comparisons.
Well, feel free. I mean, I poured these, so if you want to finish the rest in each bottle, you go for it. I'm not going to stop you.
I don't know how I feel about that right now. I'm going to drink this A&W for a while. There it is. A plus W.
If you want to fill the rest up, go for it. If not, I wouldn't blame you.
Mazel tov. Well, thank you to Kyle for bringing over the root beer.
That was fun. I really wish there was more stuff like this with pop. I'll have to look in and see if there's like not pop challenges, but you know what I'm saying? Like rankings and stuff. It'd be fun to rank all the Mountain Dews, but I feel like that would be
they're making a seltzer, I guess. They were saying in our group chat the other day.
Maybe that's what we'll do.
That's gonna be disgusting. I don't know how that can be good.
Why not just have spiked Mountain Dew, like a Four Loko? Why I hate the seltzers. And Mountain Dew's already so fruity of a drink, like you could just spike it and it would be you wouldn't notice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But oh well.
So we're going to get into my favorite movies now. If you recall when we started this show last year, I think we ranked our top 5 movies. It might be in this notebook, actually.
I was going to say, I could find it in my
are.
notes somewhere.
So I'm going to look around for that briefly.
Sure.
But hang on. Stalling. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, those are the top 3 actual top 3 sports movies is what that is. I feel like we actually ranked them, though.
Well, let me see.
You know?
I can search in my document, so all I have to do is search the word Josie. And we'll find it.
Okay. Let me take a gander.
The only times I have the word Josie written is for today's segment, so maybe it wasn't in your rankings then. Maybe you've changed.
Turns out, I think we actually did rank our movies, but we can't find anything. I swear we did. Regardless, my favorite movies of all time are Moneyball and The Wolf of Wall Street. And you're probably like, what on earth is that bullcrap response? Wolf of Wall Street, I don't know. I just think they capture that late 80s, early 90s kind of climate right.
That's right.
DiCaprio's phenomenal in that movie. All the supporting actors and actresses are phenomenal. It's a fun watch. It was one of the first movies I ever watched that I probably shouldn't have watched.
Yeah.
Without my parents giving it the A-OK, because I think we had just started high school, basically.
2013, if I remember right.
And that's a pretty intense movie in terms of what you see and what you hear.
Sure.
So I think that adds to it. And Moneyball with Brad Pitt about the Oakland Athletics, that's just beautifully done. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it, too. I think that's one of the last movies he was in.
Yeah, probably.
I think he did one that they were editing it after he died, but he was in it. Obviously, when he's alive, it's not like they CGI'd him like they did with Carrie Fisher or anything. Right. But, yeah, so I love that movie. But I wanted to find a movie that, although it's based off a book...
Oh, it is? I didn't know that.
Yeah, although it's based off a book, I didn't want to start throwing in all these things. Be like, well, my favorite movie, but... you know, so... And growing up, I always really liked Western movies because... Here's way too much into Nick's life. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'd go to my mom's parents, so my grandparents on my mom's side. Mm-hmm. Tuesday, Thursday, I'd go to my grandparents from my dad's side. Makes sense. That was what I would do in the summer.
Yeah.
And my grandpa from my mom's side, we would always watch Westerns because the violence isn't too extreme because most of them are old and that wasn't a thing really.
Right.
Unless it was like
one
of those shocking.
Yeah.
There's, love scenes, but none of them are too over the top usually. And they're easy to follow. There's a good guy who's usually wearing something lighter. There's a bad guy who's got the bandana handkerchief around his neck and he's got all black on.
Yeah,
so it was easy for a kid to understand. I grew up watching the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood.
I need to see those
Fistful of Dollars, $5 More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Mm-hmm. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly might be my favorite movie. Western.
Oh, okay.
Probably my top 5 of all time. But that's a long movie. It's not anywhere to stream. It was on Dailymotion, the knockoff YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But Josey Wales lately has been making a real run for its money at that top spot.
Yeah.
Some do consider this to be a great movie. Let me grab my notes so I can read everything the way that I intended.
I saw on IMDb, looking at it, like one of the best Westerns of the 70s, like up there with... Unforgiven, which I think is also a Clint Eastwood movie.
I think he did
or directed it, maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
it's so weird to see, like, it's weird to see him young, and he's not even really that young in Josey Wales. Like, you can already see wrinkles and stuff. It's like
he was 40 something.
Yeah, he's been around.
He's probably in his mid 40s because I think I googled him yesterday.
He's old.
He's born in 1930. This came out on June 26, 1976. So he was 46,
46
when this came out.
Wow.
That's nuts. Because he could get off as like 32 even.
Right, especially because he's got that like grizzled veteran, you know, it makes sense.
That's nuts to think about, that he's still kind of active too.
Oh yeah, he's still, what did he direct recently? He was just in The Mule. He starred in it. I don't know if he directed it. But yeah, he's been in a lot.
So anyway, The Outlaw Josey Wales, June 26, 1976. Do you know who this was directed by?
No.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh wait, I did know that. I've seen, dang it.
Clint Eastwood.
I saw that on IMDb.
I have some relevant IMDb facts that I stole that we'll get into at the end.
It's like an interrogation.
But yeah, I got a bunch of these papers. It printed out a bunch of the pages blank.
Oh yeah, I hate
for
when
some
it does
reason,
that.
and I have no clue why. But I think I got everything I actually need. So it was adapted by Sonia Chernus and Philip Kaufman, who was the original director, based on the book The Rebel Outlaw Josey Wales / Gone to Texas by Asa Earl Carter, who was, fun fact, a huge racist. He was anti-segregation, founded the North Alabama Citizens Council, which was an independent version of the White Citizens Council and KKK.
Wow.
That made me write down the question, is this why the Union are the bad guys in this movie?
Right.
And he even went under the alias Forrest Carter to try and bury his past because he was a public figure ahead of time and politics and stuff.
Right.
And so he went by Forrest Carter while getting press, and that's how they ended up finding out. They went, hey, wait a minute. This guy kind of looks familiar. So the film cost $3.7 million to make and brought home $31.8 million from box office, en route to being called one of the greatest Western movies ever by some. Others call it a dull and boring snoozer of a movie. But what matters is Kyle's opinion, as I am trying to inflict my opinion on him by making him watch the movie. But before we get into Kyle's opinion, let's talk about The Outlaw Josey Wales.
Sounds good to me.
There should have been a really cool video that played right there, because that was like a really nice intro into it, and then it's just, okay, now we're going to keep talking. Now here we go, talking.
Still us.
So the movie opens with Josie tending his field with his son, who they refer to as Little Josie.
Mm-hmm. JR.
And he's got his oh, good old JR. This segment might be long, by the way. There will be timestamps if you don't want to hear the whole.
I was going to say, I figured I'd let you go through and then like any little things.
Yeah, anything I miss, or if I need a breather, if you want to. Because once in a while I'll forget an important detail and just write it off. Son gets called inside, and Josie soon hears a thundering noise, followed by smoke and gunshots. Mm-hmm. So he sprints over. His house must have been far from his property. They made it sound like when they pan back to the wife calling the kid in, that it's like right there.
Right.
And then he's sprinting off in the next scene. I go, okay. He sprints over and sees his house on fire as his family cries for help. He gets whacked by the butt of a gun and something else that I can't tell what it was. I think it was a sword. Yeah. It looks like a sword, but the wound, there's just like blood trickling down his face.
Yeah, and it was kind of like 70s. They couldn't really show a whole lot of it. Like, I get it.
And so he gets knocked out as his house is destroyed. We then see him digging holes and dragging a body to the hole, or bodies.
Yep.
He puts a cross above it as smoke rises in the background from the rubble, which I thought was really ominous, but a cool shot.
Yeah.
And then he cries and kind of brings the cross down. So he finds his gun in the rubble. I wrote he finds his fun in the rubble. I don't think he was finding much fun that day. That damn Grenada.
I put it gets hot in a hurry, which was my pun of the opening. And then I put Josie finding his 6-shooter in the rubble got me amped, because it's like everything burned to the ground, and then he just reaches in. It's like, oh, here's my revolver.
Wouldn't that be really hot? Yeah. The gun? That was
or
my
burn,
first thought.
like I'm sure it was a wood handle.
Just grabs it out of the little,
it was just, and it was so cool because it's like
gun
instant
holster.
Revenge, and I was like, yeah, there we go.
There we go. This is a cowboy movie.
Yeehaw.
Anytime you want to jump in like that, feel free. Always, as always, don't wait for me to get done for a minute and then go, well, back to what you said 4 points ago. So he finds his gun in the rubble, somehow doesn't burn his hand, and immediately starts shooting at a plank of wood on his property. We don't know how good he is with the gun before this. He just starts shooting, which was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So Fletcher, a.k.a. Bloody Bill, and his men ride up as Josie mourns his family. Bill tells him that the Union are in Kansas and they are going to set things right. Josie says, well, I'll be coming with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the title card with a chipper Civil War tune as there's skirmishes going on in the background and some weird blue tinted
I made a note about
overlay.
that, and it looks really cool. So I think it's assumed too that the people who like killed his family, burned his house down, they're Union soldiers who are basically going around and like getting rid of all the ex-Confederate soldiers.
Yeah.
And so he joins up with other ex-Confederates and they go after him. Mm-hmm. But really, it's not even a North-South thing for him. For Josey Wales, it's more just a revenge thing.
Yeah.
You'll get to it, I'm sure, in a minute. The blue, I thought it looked really cool because it's like the montage of them like going up against the Union. It's like, because that's not the point of the movie. So it's just this like blue haze over the screen. And then as it comes into them talking in like current time, it slowly comes into color. I thought it looked really cool.
And again, there's the weird thing watching this where you're like, am I going to root for the Confederate guy?
Right. And you don't
feel
get
a little
that
weird
point of view often.
But especially when the Native Americans get involved and stuff, there's no real racial.
Yeah.
He's very respectful to them.
Yeah,
what
he's
kind of makes
like,
you. And again, if you fought for the Confederates, I mean, I'm not going to be like, yay, good for you. But at the same time, it's easy to buy him as a hero instead of being the jerk, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because the Union had won the war, and then there's this guy who just wanted to tend his farm at home, and they come down and burn his house down and kill his family, all because he fought for the army that the state he lived in was on.
Exactly.
You know? So, and like I said, there's some like weird racial commentary once in a while. They say things that probably aren't passe now, but they don't run around calling people the N-word or anything in this movie.
Right, yeah, because that's not what it's about.
Yeah, it's about this guy getting revenge on the Union soldiers who, as you said, are basically exterminating anyone who had any ties to the Confederacy throughout the South. So Bill, there we go. Yes, Bloody Bill, who gets called Fletcher for the rest of the movie.
I thought they were different people, and I
did too, because I forgot his name was I forgot his name was actually Fletcher. Because he goes, they call me Bloody Bill. And I go, okay, we're going to hear him get referred to as Bloody Bill the rest of the movie. And then they never bring up Bloody Bill again.
It's just Fletcher.
So Fletcher, I wrote Bill, but we'll just say Fletcher for contingency purposes. It says full amnesty. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Is it amnesty? Okay. Yeah. I don't know why that sounds so weird. I'm like, that's got to be how you say it, but why does it sound so weird? Full amnesty will be given to anyone who swears loyalty to the United States of America. They are the last group holding out, and Bill has had enough of, chasing the Union around. Mm-hmm. His men follow, except for a young lad who, probably our age, I would guess, maybe a little younger. They never really say his age, who we later learn is named Jamie.
Jamie, yeah.
And then Josie also holds out, and he tells Fletcher he's not coming. They stare at each other. Fletcher and Josie are just back and forth, camera cutting to them going, like, I understand what you're about to do, and I know why you're doing it.
Yep.
Best of luck. All in the eyes. You can read all that from their eyes.
Yeah.
Young Southern guy, Jamie, threatens the Union as he collects his guns. He says he needs that for hunting, and they get all attitudey with him.
Yeah.
Union leader gives our first quote of the movie, which is, I will kick you. Hang on.
I wrote that one down, too.
That's how you read. He says he will kick him so hard that he will be wearing his ass for a hat.
Oh.
Beautiful. The first of many.
That's the first one I wrote down. I was like, that's an amazing line. That's such a good insult.
You think it can't get better from there, but it does.
You wearing your ass for a hat.
So Fletcher meets with the senator, and Captain Terrell is there to represent the federal authority. Fletcher calls him bloodthirsty SOB, and the senator says, to the victors belong the spoils. And for the second time in 90 seconds, we get a phenomenal quote, which my grandpa always quoted when we'd watch this movie, which is, Fletcher looks at the senator and Captain Terrell and says, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Which is just fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So Fletcher informs them. Fletcher's kind of getting a pat on the back for getting his men to surrender. He's with all the Union and United States higher-ups. Yep. So he informs them that everyone but Josey Wales has surrendered with him, and Terrell is given orders to find him, and Fletcher laughs about it.
Yeah.
And then Terrell is forced to join him. Basically, they force them to work together. The senator guy Fletcher, to go track him down. So Josie, meanwhile, is in this very unique power stance on a rock with his little binocular that looks like a knockoff, like the old pirate.
The sailor. He kind of goes,
the old sailor one, and he's looking down and he sees two men go into a tent from that nice rock that he's perched up on. and the Southerners are taking an oath. You can see a machine gun, an old-timey cranky machine gun.
Yeah, the Gatling gun.
The Gatling gun, yeah. Peeking out of a tent. The young kid starts flipping out over the oath as Josie rides down, and the Southerners get blasted.
Yeah.
By this Gatling gun from this covered wagon. Josie takes control of the old crank machine gun, a.k.a. Gatling gun, or whatever.
I believe that's what
we call it. And he blazes down the Union soldiers. Jamie tells him that he can't get them all, and Josie says, well, he's got nothing better to do, so he's going to keep trying. And so Senator goes and finds Fletcher, who's right next to him, and says, hound whales. He tells him to hound him, like find him, hound him.
Hound whale. I thought you meant like hound whales, like what, like the animal. And I was like, what are you talking? What is a hound whale?
He needs to unionize the pun intended the whale population, and they're gonna get Josie Wales' ass.
Right.
So Josie Wales and this Jamie character ride away in all the mischief, and Josie calmly just brings down his horse to the ground so they can lay down in a field. Grabs it by its neck and shoves it on the ground, tells Jamie what to do, he doesn't, and they lay there.
That's what I wrote. I was like, Josie just manhandled that horse. Like, he just rips it to the ground. I was like, my God. I mean, I guess he had to. I get it, but it's just weird. I've never seen anything like that on film before.
It's like the Big Show just chucking around Rey Mysterio growing up or something. So that happens, and they don't get detected by the Union, who come racing after them, and they head for the Indian Nations. Yeah. This is where the beautiful set of side characters really kicks into high gear, because we head to the riverbanks where the man who runs the ferry, Sim Carstairs, talks about how he sings Battle Hymn of the Republic and Dixie depending on the clientele he receives. Yeah. Josie tells Sim all about the things he needs from old Granny in the little shop there by the ferry, and Granny said she heard about Josie and that it's all diddly squat to her. She doesn't believe any of the things they're saying. They deserved it. The Union, that is, for messing with them.
Sure.
And so she gives him all the stuff and says he can pay her when he sees him again. Sees her again. Mm-hmm. And a man trying to sell an elixir, who I forgot even watching it this time, will play a very significant role later in the movie.
Later on.
Wearing this white tux, tries to sell an elixir to Josie, and he tells him that the boy's wound can be healed with the elixir. And he says it can do anything. And another beautiful running gag is that Josie Wales spits tobacco on things all the time in this movie.
Yeah, right.
He spits right on the man's white shirt or white suit, says, "How is it with stains?" And it's just beautiful. Beautiful.
It's so much, too.
I know. He's spitting loogies on things.
Oh, it's like, imagine like the worst spitter you can think of, and that's Josie Wales. Just a mouthful of tobacco.
Chaw.
Yeah. Chosky.
So they get to the other side. Now, it's important to note that this little ferry, it's got a rope that he basically pulls so it doesn't get
old school.
Taken across or getting caught up in, well, it does get taken across, but it doesn't get swept away by the current. So he's roping back, and the Union soldiers show up on the other side, and he goes from singing Dixie to Battle Hymn of the Republic halfway through. Josie makes a plan, and him and Sim wait. Wait, hang on, that's not how that works. They wait for Sim to pick up the Union, is how that was meant to work.
Yeah.
Josie pulls out an old-fashioned rifle. He's got a little scope, long scope on it. I don't know if I'd call it... Would that be a sniper then, basically, or is that just a hunting rifle?
As close as you can get to one.
Yeah. For 18 whatever, probably 65, because it's right after the Civil War.
Yeah.
So Josie's chilling under a tree, nodding off, and Jamie's like, hey, they're coming. And Josie delivers a beautiful line and says they're going to take a Missouri boat ride. And he shoots the rope, and the rope breaks, and they go, and the horse falls in the water, and they start drifting down the river. Not sure if that's what Creedence Clearwater Revival meant by rolling on the river, but that's what the Union did here. So Josie tends the boy's wound once they get to rest, and he says, "It was an honor to have rid with ye," says Jamie to Josie Wales. Boy talks about how his dad sang Rose of Alabama while he would sew the shirt that he's wearing, which had roses on it, and two crackhead-looking bounty hunters show up with their guns drawn.
That scene was just weird.
A lot.
Yeah, this scene is... Not that I didn't like it, I just remember watching it being like, what is happening? These guys are...
There's a lot to unpack there.
They look like they live in the swamp.
They live on the bottom of that ferry eating barnacles all day. They get upset at the boy singing, and he pretends to hallucinate and calls one of them Pa and makes up a story about gold him and Josey Wales stole. Of course, they go, okay, he said it's under this blanket he's under, and then it's a pistol, and he blows him to smithereens. Josie shoots the other. That's that.
That is that.
Jamie goes, should we bury him? And Josey Wales says, hell with them fellas, buzzards gotta eat, same as worms.
Great line.
Beautiful line, yet again. We finally learned the boy's name is Jamie from the movie perspective. And Josie goes out into the rain once he gets some comfortable, going to scope out some area. And Josie returns and sees that the boy has died.
Yep.
Really painful right before that. He talked about how he was afraid of dying earlier in the movie when he gets shot. And then he says he's not afraid to die anymore. And he's dead the next time we see him.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I thought you were...
No,
it sounded like you were
going to bring up... The one thing I've noticed in this movie that I thought was really cool, like, when the Union kill the Confederate soldiers, they don't do it right away. They collect their guns. They offer to give them food. Like, I had no... At first, I was like, I feel like they're just going to kill them, because why not just get rid of them? And then I was like, oh, they're actually doing this. They're collecting their guns. They're taking this oath. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they kill them. And then with this kid, like, he gets shot, him and Josie have their, they go for a day and then he dies or whatever. But, like, it took a little while for him to die. And so, I don't know, there were a lot of times I was like, oh, I guess this kid's going to be around for the movie, like a sidekick, and then he dies. Which, it's cool, because, like, nowadays with movies, it's like, oh, okay, somebody in the group got shot, he'll be dead in 5 minutes, It's not as predictable, which I liked.
I feel like even though he's not in the movie that long, runtime wise, I feel like he's there long enough to where we feel that connection to him too.
Yeah,
but not like he's wearing the group down kind of deal.
Yeah, and he's there long enough to be more
away and not be a liability.
Right. Yeah, he's more than just like, oh, the young kid who's going to be with Josie till he dies. Like,
when I first watched him, like, is he going to teach him something he doesn't know? And there's that teaser. It doesn't happen, but. Josey Wales pulls a gun on Abe Lincoln, the Native American version.
I was like, wait, I didn't see that.
It's this Indian with a top hat, and he's a jokester. He makes a joke about knowing Josie and being worried he'd sneak up on him, which is funny because Josie snuck up on him. He goes on a sad story about how his family died during the Trail of Tears, but Josey Wales, always the compassionate one, is already checking out this guy's cabin.
And falling asleep.
So Terrell, meanwhile, the bad guys, Terrell tells Fletcher that Wales couldn't have made it to the nations. Fletcher heads to the nations. And so a horned toad knows which way to go is what Chief, I believe they call him Chief.
Yeah, because that's another joke at the end that he's not a chief. Yeah. Or a girl they meet up with calls him Chief just because he's old.
I think there's an actual name too, but I can't think of what it was. So the horned toad knows which way to go. That's what Chief's telling Josey Wales, and the horned toad directs him towards Mexico. So Wales says he has business in Missouri, and he then learns that Joe Shelby has men that have gone down to Mexico from the Confederate Army, and they still haven't surrendered. So this trading post guy, they're going to get horses, I believe.
Yes.
I say that like I haven't seen this movie 10 times. They're going to get horses. Trading post guy's beating the crap out of this Indian lady.
Yeah, and because she dropped the whiskey.
She dropped whiskey for a potential clientele.
Yeah, I wrote "Don't cry over spilt whiskey," and then like he was like wailing on her. I was like, I'm uncomfortable watching this. Like it was a little bit more than just like a smack. Go to, you know what I mean? I was like, Jesus,
ain't like a wooden plank.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
And so. Josey Wales watches on ominously, and the man stops while she's bent over a pile of something outside with his plank in hand.
Right.
And he tries to pretend it's funny. The creepy men in the trading post then begin raping, the woman.
Yeah, there's a lot of that sketchy, like, Jesus, that's
it's very disturbing.
Because there's multiple things in this movie where, like, women and horses can be traded as, like, goods. And it's like, gosh. I didn't realize that. Like, I don't watch a lot of Westerns either. So, like, the whole idea of, like, we need to go find a horse being, like, a plot point to get past is weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, in most movies, like, oh, we'll just go get a horse. Just go get a car, you know?
I'm glad they kind of keep that sort of thing in there, though, for these movies.
Oh, yeah. The fact that, like, a trading post is, like, a major place to be type thing, you know? It's cool. I need to watch more of them, too.
So Josey Wales shows up then while they're doing this, and he wants a horse. They recognize him, though, inside and hold him up, and he blasts him away.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I believe he spits.
Yeah. Yeah. Chief sneaks up on Josie this time. It's funny to me, especially when he says only an Indian can do something like that. And then the woman that was just getting taken advantage of appears to be behind Chief. And we learn that she is a Navajo named Moonlight, and she was captured previously by the Cherokee. They argue about who is going to Mexico as Josie spits on Chief's dog.
Yeah. He spits right on that
My
dog.
grandpa loved that, too. He goes, this is where he spits on the dog. And then he would just start cackling.
It's like right on his forehead. I'm like, oh.
No wonder they call him Spot. So Josie buys some goods while the shopkeeper talks about Josey Wales. This is when they get to a new town. This is not the shopkeeper that he just shot. Actually, he didn't shoot the shopkeeper there.
He just, yeah.
There's a lot of shopkeepers that we're going to run into.
That's what I mean.
We don't really care about because he's traveling.
Right.
As most Westerns, they go on a grand adventure.
Mm-hmm.
The idiot elixir man is selling his stuff outside after Josie walks out with handfuls of stuff and goes, "Oh my God, it's Josey Wales."
Yeah, that really stunk.
Now, what makes me question this? Does he think he's going to get money from the bounty for saying it's Josey Wales?
Yeah.
When there's 4 Union soldiers or 5 Union soldiers right there who are going to shoot him?
And take credit. Exactly.
I don't think that's going to work the way he thinks.
And the way he says it is it's like he's scared, like, oh, it's a vampire. You know what I mean? But he says it's Josey Wales, and I'm like, what? It looked goofy to me, that part. But also that businessman character sucks anyway, because he's like...
Yeah, the elixir.
Yeah.
Cooper.
He's horrible. He's
I
such
hate
a
him.
bad businessman.
He has such a good face, though, to hate.
Oh, yeah.
His face just looks like you just want pow.
And like people are always like, "What's in it?" Or like Chief asks him questions about it, and like he's like, "I don't know."
He says, "What are the ingredients?" He goes, "I don't know. I'm the salesman." I'm like,
what?
Okay. So Josie spits, and the Union soldiers creep towards him.
Oh, another great line
And Josie
coming.
says the line of the movie. No, actually, no, that's a lie.
There's 2 lines in this movie.
There's
I
a
think,
couple
that
ones that I like more, but this is in my top 3, where he says, "You gonna pull those pistols or whistle Dixie?" And then Josie and Chief shoot the guys.
I think I'm gonna use that one just to get rid of pistols, and you gonna
when Kyle gets held up. So Josie and Chief shoot the guys. The elixir man gets knocked into horse shit as Josie and Chief ride away. The woman gets left behind, and not for long though, because Fletcher says they should go. Hang on. Fletcher says they should stay where. What? Oh, never mind. I know what's going on. I wrote in this cool italicized font because it just reminded me that this was the movie and not some other random notes.
right.
Fletcher says they should say that they're going to the north to confuse the bounty hunters because they're going to follow. But he's actually thinking Josey Wales is going southwest. Chief listens to the ground and goes, "They are coming." The Navajo girl is actually the one who is following them.
Correct.
So Chief leaps on her in a sneak attack and then realizes that it is Moonlight. So Josie wakes up in the middle of the night to the Moonlight on top of Chief, and Chief looks at him giggly and says, "I guess you were right. I'm not old after all."
Yeah, he like goes over to see what's going on, and then like pulls back the covers on him. It's like
I wrote all
I don't
caps,
think anyone
yuck.
I don't think anyone expected that. Chief's old. He's
Yeah.
got white hair.
So they find some Comancheros who have attacked some settlers from Kansas that were in the shop in Texas earlier.
Yep.
They find the young white girl in the back of the wagon and stare at her for a long time. It's really uncomfortable to watch this because you know what's going to happen.
Yes, I do remember.
They grab her and haul her out. Josie watches. They rip off her clothes and are basically going to gang rape her.
Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah, that scene. The tension of how long it
they
lasts.
stare at each other for a very long time before they actually grab her, and it makes it that much more uncomfortable.
Yeah, I didn't care for it the way it made me feel.
So they pin her down, they rip off some of her clothes, and then they trade women, though. So they say that they should let her be because they'll get more for a fresh woman.
Right.
Which is just a disgusting line.
Yes, it is.
But it helps you hate these guys. And
sure.
So the distraction of Chief rolling down a rock.
I made a note about that too, because he's up. It was an accident, I think. Mm-hmm. He's like climbing. They're climbing up a hill to see what's going on down there, and he like bumps a rock and it rolls down.
They capture Chief, so there's no way that it was a
right.
choreographed thing.
And like, I don't know. I mean, imagine me or you and a bunch of people are in the desert, and a rock rolls down from a sand hill.
Mm-hmm.
oh, something must have moved, maybe, an animal or something.
Or a scorpion.
Right. And they, like, all get on their horses, storm up the hill. I'm like, what is happening? It's not like somebody just shot a gun. A rock fell next to your boot, and you're telling me Chief's whereabouts?
So the distraction leads them to surrounding Chief. Josie spits on the dog again. They tie up the old hag of the people from Kansas.
She is an insufferable.
This old annoying white lady whose name I can never remember. Laura Lee, who's the young white woman, and Chief. They tie them up by their hands and make them walk behind them. Josie rides up to the Comancheros with his white flag raised. It confuses them, and a few ride out. Chief says, now spit, and Josie does that before shooting them. It's not like a command. He just whispers it to himself because he knows he's going to do it, and then he spits and shoots him. And Josie, very aggressively, cuts them all free. I don't know if you noticed that, but he, like, grabs the rope and is, like, shaking. I was like, oh, my Lord.
It's like, take it easy. Everybody's dead, Josie. You don't need to rush.
Settle down, Josey Wales. So that goes down, and they get to a lame town, and Josie walks into the bar, and they get to a lame town, and Josie walks into a bar and orders a drink. They show a bounty hunter from before outside. People also laugh when he orders the drink, and Josie walks out. The townsfolk are then elated when he walks in with whiskey.
Yeah.
Poor town. It was like a mining town.
It was like a boom town that's now a ghost town.
You've heard the story in history class, I'm sure.
You know the rules.
So a bounty hunter comes in and says, a man's got to do something these days. When he tells him that Josie Wales that he's a bounty hunter, and he's kind of judgmental about it.
This is probably the line of the movie, I'd say.
And Josie Wales looks at him and says, dying ain't much of a living, boy. And then the bounty hunter gets shot, falls back a few feet through a door downstairs, and lands in the dirt in front of the saloon in a beautiful "do guns really make people fall backwards" that far scene that will probably get laughed at today. I know I chuckled at it, and I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So they find the old hag's son's nice little piece of property there, and this is all in Texas, by the way.
You're right.
So Chief tells Josie to stay with them. Josie says that they won't forget about him being wanted, and he sits alone and thinks of the tragedy at his house while the others work and do some TLC to the property.
Yeah, it's weird because now it went from like Josie, Chief, and the Navajo girl to like those three, the people they saved, the old woman and her daughter, and then everyone from that town, since it's like a dead town, just moves into this house, and I guess they're just going to be a community in this house.
Little community town.
It's kind of that old school, like I guess that's how it was back then. I don't know.
So Ten Bears, who is the chief of a nearby tribe that was trading with the Comancheros.
Yeah, Comanche, I believe was his tribe. Comanche?
Oh yeah, his name's Ten Bears. I think he's the Comanche though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what you just told me.
Comancheros.
I was saying that out loud to see how it sounded myself. He sends back a wounded chief, and he warns them that they will be back in the morning. Wounded chief is chief that was with Josie Wales. He didn't wound his own chief and say, now go tell him that you're...
Give him the warning.
Josie leaves to attack them, or so we think. The young woman calls for him, but he winces and decides not to turn back.
Yep.
That scene's kind of powerful.
Yeah.
Because Laura Lee's like, Josie, and he like half turns back, and it's like a very visible
when he tells them like how to protect themselves, load the weapons, you know, there's a good line there, like if you have to get scrappy, basically, that's just how it is.
They've got the plus signs basically cut out so you can move the guns around and whatnot. So he tells them how to protect themselves.
Sorry.
So Ten Bears and Josie meet with the whole tribe surrounding Josie Wales.
Yeah, that part scared me.
Ten Bears tells him he can go because he knows, the story. He knows he's not there to mess with them, basically.
Right, yeah, he's not an enemy.
But Josie says living is harder than dying, and that he wants to basically, you guys let us live nearby, we'll help you, you help us.
Sure.
And so the ultimatum's kind of given, and Ten Bears says, it shall be life.
Yeah.
And him and Josie make a blood pact when they both cut their hands, and the Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage shaking handshake. They shake hands.
I wonder how soon after that they both died of infection.
Yeah. Yeah, with their dirty hands.
On top of blood from somebody else.
So everyone's having a good old time at home. They're going to get to live. Hooray. And Josie says, because the one lady from this town, and they've got a harmonica and some other instruments they were singing when he walked into the bar initially.
Yep.
Now they're all sitting around and singing out that the home life is somewhat settled. He requests Rose of Alabama. And again, the first time I watched this, I said, that's a nice ending. But there's about a half hour left.
What about Fletcher?
Fletcher and the boys get help from the bounty hunter's partner that died when Josie blew him 30 feet backwards out of the saloon.
Yeah.
So, hang on a minute. Yeah, there we go. I just totally lost where we were. I don't know why this is so hard today.
You're good.
It's like what happened in my commencement speech at graduation where I know what happens next, so I just start saying it, and then I have to find where it is in my paper so I know where I am.
Yeah.
So Josie and her Laura Lee are making jokes, and he says, she tells a horrible joke. Didn't even write it down. It was so not worth my time.
Yeah.
And then he says, do they teach pretty girls dumb jokes in Kansas? And she says, they teach other things. And he says, show me. They kiss.
Yep.
Hooray.
Josie, you sly dog.
Josie, that sly dog Wales. So Josie departs, and this time it is Chief who doesn't stick around for the whole story, because Chief basically just walks away as Josie's contemplating his future.
Mm-hmm.
So Terrell's waiting outside, and his men soon come out from behind a ridge, and the friends of Josie stick their rifles out from within the home, and there's some neat silence and buildup before the gunfire starts.
Yep.
Really cool, because he's like, you're all alone now, Wales, and then it just...
Yeah.
All these rifles stick out. Shots ring out. There's a shootout. Josie is hit and Terrell gets away. A high-speed horse chase between Terrell and Josie takes place. Both men have been shot. Josie double-fist pistols, and there's no bullets in them, but he just keeps going like this and just clicking and backing up Terrell.
He puts those away, gets two more out.
Yeah, this dude's
just
strapped to the gills with revolvers.
telling him, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get up and close and personal with you here.
So he backs Terrell down. Darryl pulls out his sword, but loses the battle of strength as Josie sticks it into Terrell's gut and not vice versa.
Correct.
So Josie stumbles back into the bar, and what do you know, but there's Texas Rangers there looking for him. Mm-hmm. And Fletcher's there with them. And so the townspeople call him Mr. Wilson.
Right.
These are the townspeople that had been moved basically with him to this new place.
Right. Yeah.
They're back here now. And they say that Pistolero shot him and that he's now dead in Mexico. And they ask them if they will sign an affidavit in regards to their story. They do.
How funny is that, too? Like, the amount that people have gone through to try and get to Josey Wales, and then when the law finally shows up, they're like, oh, he's dead? Will you just sign this?
Yeah.
Okay,
we don't have cars or technology.
Yeah,
yet.
we're not gonna.
We'll take your word for it.
We're not gonna fact check that.
Mr. Bar frequent Norm from Cheers of the South.
Norm was like, yeah, I'll sign it.
And the line, I reckon we won't be coming back this way, brings a nice bit of peace over everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Says the Texas Ranger says that. Fletcher says he doesn't buy the story, but he might go down to Mexico, wink, 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 and try to find Josey Wales.
Yeah, it's like Fletcher knows it's Josie, Josie knows it's Fletcher, and then because you're waiting for Josie to try and kill him because obviously he turned on him. He used to be one of them, and then when Fletcher says, "Yeah, I might go to Mexico," I don't know. He's kind of saying I
respect your game, Wales.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done hunting you, and I'm sorry,
And then Josie says, "I guess we all died a little in that damn war." And then, as every proper cowboy movie ends, Josie rides into the sunset, and we don't know if his wound ever gets infected and he dies a couple hours later or what.
And you get that, high-pitched, Western, Southern, victory song. And it's I don't know if this really fits the ending, but sure. It's do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And I was like, oh, all right.
So that is The Outlaw Josey Wales. I have some of my stolen IMDb facts for you. Philip Kaufman started to direct the movie, but was replaced by Clint Eastwood in October 1975, which was a controversial move that prompted the Directors Guild of America to institute a ban on any current cast or crew member replacing the director on a movie, a rule which has ever since been titled the Eastwood Rule.
Oh. That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
And then wild. It gets better. According to a biographer, Mark Elliott, part of the acrimony between Eastwood and Kaufman was the result of both men asking female lead Sandra Locke out to dinner on the same night. Several members of the cast and crew were unhappy with Eastwood and felt that Kaufman had done a lot of the work for which Eastwood later took credit. According to them, it was Kaufman who had chosen locations, the costume, and had cast Chief Dan George after seeing him in Little Big Man in 1970. But the movie has received high praise among Native American viewers for its non-stereotypical portrayal of Native Americans.
I can see that.
And it was the first of 6 movies made by real-life couple Clint Eastwood and Sandra Locke.
So I guess he got the girl.
He won. He got it all. He got the credit and the girl. Steven Schneider included this on his 1001 movies to see you must see before you die list, and that's all I have for you. So I love this movie.
1001 movies to see before you die?
Yeah, I don't feel like that's that honorable of a list.
No, 1001. I mean, I could name you a couple hundred movies. 1001 movies. What? I'm gonna have to look it up. What a joke.
What a goober.
At surface level, I'm upset that you would. Who's got?
I don't know. I don't know why he's acting like that's a big deal.
I'm about to do the math. Assuming they're 2 hours each, divide that. How many days would it take?
Yeah. Give me that number.
1001
divided by 24.
So it's 24,024 hours. Because there's. Wait. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I should have 1001 times 2. We'll say 2 hours per movie. 2002
divided by 24.
It would take you 83.4 days, and you could probably round that up to almost 90 days when you consider how many classic movies are up going on 3 hours. 83 days of only watching movies.
That's nuts. I can't think of
if you watched
100 movies I've watched.
If you watched a movie a week, how many weeks would it take you?
52.
Well, you'd watch 52 in a year.
Yeah, you'd watch it. Yeah, that's not what. Yeah, I misinterpreted the way
Sorry.
you said it.
Divided by 52. It'd take you 19 years if you watched one movie a week. That's not out of the question. One movie a week, anybody could do that.
Yeah. Family movie night.
Yeah.
We got to get through this guy's list before someone croaks.
Literally, if you're 60 years old, you're probably not going to do that list. If you just retired, sorry.
Yeah.
Try our.
What age do we need to start on that?
Try
list?
the light version.
Andrew,
try the 101
or Steven,
movies.
whatever your name was. What did you think of this movie?
Yeah, I'm sorry to completely cut you off on the end of the movie. It was great. I don't watch a lot of westerns, so it was nice. There was a lot of refreshing. Oh boy, he's into the barks.
Oh shit! This isn't even the one I wanted.
You're getting ballsy. I say they're still cold. Finish them.
Oh well.
Good ending. Good acting. Good writing. Pacing. I mean, a little long, but that's how westerns are. And they're also there's a formula to them. So it's like, oh, okay, he finds this person. They go for a little while. Maybe they die. Maybe they don't. They run into these people. Now he finds it. It's an adventure movie. It's like you know what you're getting out of it.
I mean, yeah, when you go into a Western, you kind of know you're getting a good guy, bad guy, traveling across to reach a goal, getting revenge, one of those kind of plot lines. And there's usually a random, either Native American woman or a little white woman that they run into that they end up falling in love with, and they either join the tribe or they settle in the West with this woman. Yeah.
And it follows that. And then Josie as a character is really cool. So it's like he's fun to root for. He looks cool to act like him. You know what I mean? That kind of stoic, when he's staring at the guy he's about to kill, he spits like at them almost, and still wins the gunfight.
What's really cool is how badass they make him, while still letting him get that dry humor in there.
Right.
But in a way where it's not like, oh, this guy's a goober just going around killing people. They do it in a way where it's just this really deadpan kind of straight up comedy kind of deal where it's just kind of insulting. It's insult based almost, but it's funny insult based.
Yeah, like you would laugh if you were standing there watching it, but it's also like it's tense. Like he's not trying to be funny. Yeah. It's funny because he's so blatantly disrespectful.
And then Chief is just funny, but he's also got that brain of knowing the Native American kind of things.
The wisdom character.
The wisdom, exactly.
Yeah.
So I love that balance in both of those characters.
Yeah. And I haven't seen a lot of Westerns. I'm trying to think of really... There's some movie that's newer that doesn't take place in the Wild West, but people call it a Western based on how it was. It might be No Country for Old Men. I could be wrong about that. But Either way, good, and it makes me want to watch more westerns.
I think Chief Dan George, who played the chief in this movie, I think another one, the IMDb facts was that he was old by that point, as you could probably tell watching it, and he was forgetting his lines, and Eastwood would be mouthing the words to him, and they had to reshoot scenes because you could see Eastwood mouthing the words to him, which is hysterical.
That is so funny.
But yeah, Outlaw Josey Wales, probably the best
pick.
movie we've watched.
For
this,
yeah.
But we did one that was intentionally going to be a horrible movie, so I don't know. Lincoln Lawyer's back on Netflix.
I saw Lincoln Lawyer.
I got a little teary-eyed thinking back to our first movie review on this show there.
That was great. We kicked it off good with that movie too.
That was fantastic. Impressed. I was still kind of disappointed that they named the movie after his car, but that's okay.
Yeah, I know.
I thought there was going to be a weird Lincoln tie-in, but alas.
No, he drives a Lincoln and he happens to be a lawyer. Or he's a lawyer who happens to drive a Lincoln.
So I'm a ginger who happens to play the guitar and like music, which is a horrible transition. But I sent Kyle,
a little bit.
What's My Age Again? By Blink-182, my favorite band. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're so high on Led Zeppelin. You're so high on all these classic rock bands. How is Blink-182 your favorite band? And I completely understand. And I'll be the first one to tell you their music's not the best out of all of the bands I listen to regularly. But theirs meant the most to me at the time that I discovered the band. And so now I associate that kind of mentality when I listen to them. And
I agree.
As much as you might want to say they're just a crappy punk rock band, they kind of have changed their sound. Now, since their last two albums since Matt Skiba's joined the band, that's kind of going backwards. It's fun, catchy sing-along, but it's not music that 48-year-olds should be making.
Okay.
It's still got that mom and dad don't know who I really am angst to it.
Gotcha. So it's not the original three?
No.
Gotcha.
No. Tom DeLonge is the whinier voice guy. He's in another band, but they're still friends, basically. He just doesn't want to do it.
Gotcha.
He's really big into UFOs and stuff.
Oh, nice.
There was a Joe Rogan interview he did a couple years ago where people thought he was literally insane. And now a lot of this conspiracies he was talking about, with all these leaks and stuff they're just saying, it turned out he was right. And everyone was thinking this dude was off his rocker. And
he was actually
now that they're releasing all this UFO stuff kind of under the rug under the table, trying to slide it in, they're finding out that a bunch of the stuff he said was legit conspiracy and not just him losing his mind. But yeah,
I love that.
So that's fun. But I sent you What's My Age Again. I kind of called it my favorite song earlier. It's probably my favorite big song from them. Damn It's my favorite song.
That's funny.
I listened to that on the way here. Which is their first really big song, I believe.
Came on my Spotify.
I almost like live versions better because Mark, the bass player, sings the whole song in the recorded version, but then Tom does the chorus when they do it live, and I think it's just a cool little change. I should look that up. I've never heard a live version. But yeah, well, they're not great live, so you have to be careful which one you find. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not good. But yeah, what do you think of this tune? I think it's good. I think they've got two really big hits that everyone knows them for, What's My Age Again and All the Small Things, and I think What's My Age Again's better. I would agree. Yeah, all the small. They're both really catchy songs. What's My Age Again is a better song to relate to. Yeah. All the Small Things, I think I know what it's about, but it's about your girlfriend and you like the little things that yeah. Sure. But What's My Age Again, it's about not wanting to grow up, and why is it that I'm acting young and goofy and everyone around me keeps bringing up that I'm getting older, I need to stop having fun, and it's that's relatable. Yeah. Who doesn't either go We're having that? Fun on this show right now. Exactly. Yeah. And it's got the nobody likes you when you're 23. Every time someone turns 23, they quote that song. I'll turn 23 in November. October. And I got to caption something that when it happens, but I don't want people to go, oh, what a loser. So we got to figure out. I'll capture. Kyle, social media list Kyle is going to come and I'm going to download piece of crap. Kyle's going to get the Twitter with the default egg profile picture and just be like, you bum. Nice reference, scrub. Yeah, scrub. But yeah, I mean, that's basically why I sent you that song. It's a big song. I don't like a lot of their popular. I don't want to say not like, but First Date, The Rock Show. I like some of their other big songs. I just think are really cookie cutter. Hey, we need a single for this album. Sure. This one, The music video's funny too. They're naked running around downtown.
I watched the video and I listened to it.
It's goofy. They're goofing around. And I think
the video's funny.
A lot of the time people are really serious about their music, and that's fine. There's all those bands that I like that are really serious, and their fans are really serious about everything and technical. But music should be fun, and I think they're playing. They have a lot of songs that are fast, and that makes them a little tricky. But I mean, if you've played guitar for any length of time, you can pick up and basically play with them. But it's the relatability and stuff to the times that they're talking about that I think makes them good. Yeah. So hopefully you respect that opinion. And I'm glad to hear that Kyle enjoyed the tune.
Yeah.
If my guitar was in tune, I'd prove I could play it on guitar, but my guitar has not been touched in a while. But that was I felt so accomplished when I could play it because it's quick.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a quick guy. Not up here, not in the finger. No, just I need a moment. We need to take our time.
I need a moment.
Call the Eagles because I'm going to take it easy. Thank you. Goodbye. I also...
You were doing good.
If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know Kyle's a boxing guy. I'm an MMA guy. I'm not trying to crap on Kyle here and say you absolute bum, but I like to think I respect boxing a little more than Kyle cares for MMA.
I'm coming around to it, but probably.
So I sent Kyle a fight. He's hearing this for the first time. That I was almost certain he wasn't going to like, and I was going to tell him why he should like it. So I sent him Khabib Nurmagomedov against Dustin Poirier, who just beat McGregor.
Right. For
those of you that don't know or are trying to think of why you know that name. Their title fight from, I believe, 2019.
Recent. Yeah. It was right before he left.
It was before COVID. I think it was his second to last fight.
Yeah.
Maybe
Khabib's right. Yeah.
So yeah, I sent Kyle this fight. I wasn't really sure Kyle was going to like it, and if he didn't like it, even better. So I could explain to him why he should like it. But Kyle, what'd you think of this fight?
So I'll be honest with you, I didn't get a chance to watch all of it.
Oh, you piece of shit.
I'm sorry. And it's
the episode about me, and you're not going to give me, after 6 years of friendship, the time of day.
After all this.
It's
not enough.
After the root beer and everything.
You butter me up with the root beer. I saw the fight when it happened, so it's not like I've never heard about it. Because I was a huge I was a huge supporter of Poirier because I think the lack of respect I have for UFC is I don't like the guys who are good on the ground and then they just sit on you for 3 minutes. You know what I mean? How fun is it to watch a bigger dude sit on somebody and punch a little here, squirm a little, never get him in an arm bar because it's either wide open or you don't get it. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to slip up and just give you their elbow to break. So that gets me a little heated. But I do like Khabib because I remember the first time we watched him was McGregor, I think. First time I watched him. And I was like, gosh, he just sat on him the whole time. That guy's not good. And you watched him here and like it was good. Poirier, is Poirier the belt holder right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
but
they think he's going to fight for the belt finally.
Like, look at how he looked against McGregor twice. And it's like, damn, that guy's good. And then look at how he looked against Khabib. It was like, Jesus.
And
but you go ahead.
He had Khabib in trouble a couple of times there. He had the guillotine. He landed a couple good punches.
He had him in a guillotine?
Yeah.
I don't remember
briefly.
that.
You might have missed it when you didn't watch the whole
I feel
fight.
terrible because you sent it to me and I was like, is this one of his choices or is this just something cool to watch? And I'm sorry.
You should have known.
I should have clarified.
It's my week. But
I'll send you something to ignore on my week.
I agree, Kyle. If you're going to ignore something, ignore this. But I think the main reason I showed you this was just because I also kind of get annoyed when someone just sits there the whole time.
Right.
Isn't really active, but they know their wrestling's good enough to where they can wear the guy down and just stay on top of him. Yeah. But what Khabib does so well here is Poirier tries to get up, and what the announcer's advice is he should do, he's already doing it. He just knows how to prevent the transitions. He knows what to do. When he's in the guillotine, they say he needs to move his legs here and shift his body weight so he can't do everything, and he needs to tuck his neck. His neck was already tucked. He was already in the process of shifting his legs. He knows what he's doing. You know,
that's pretty impressive.
And his stand-up, whenever it fails, he can shoot for a takedown at any time and get it.
Yeah.
And his stand-up improved as he went on.
Oh, he wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
at
right.
it. That's probably why he was so good. Well, that is why he's so good.
And his pacing's insane.
Yeah.
They told Poirier in the corner at the end of the first round he's going to wear out at that pace, I think. And he just kept going.
Could you imagine hearing that from your team?
Yeah.
Like, oh, sweet, guys. All right, I'll just keep taking it for a little while. And then you get to the third round, which is the final round. It's like, all right, maybe not.
Then
he's smoking me out there.
Khabib wins by tap out, which he could have literally done in the first round, I think, watching that fight. Damn. But he was like on his back, basically.
Oh, okay.
And there's a really cool thing someone in the comments pointed out on the YouTube video where they're right by Poirier's corner and he's looking up trying to see what they're saying. And Khabib does that little face rake, like he puts his hand in front of his eye and like grabs up here by his forehead and doesn't let him hear or see what they're saying.
Oh, that's dirty. I mean, great on his part.
But like I hated Khabib because I was such of a McGregor fan.
Yeah.
And now McGregor's being a real piece of crap on social media, like even more so. Like he's just calling out random people now.
Oh, and he was
making fun of Khabib's dead dad.
He was so disrespectful to them too.
And
like he brought stuff into it, and then that's why Khabib smoked him.
Khabib broke him, I think.
Yeah, he made it personal.
Well, he was talking about Daniel Cormier the other day, and Daniel Cormier was just like, Conor, like, worry about the guys that keep beating you. Don't worry about me. Like, I'm retired and I'm a heavyweight. Like, shut up. But
he needs to stop.
Khabib's so dominant. That's what I wanted to show you because I feel like he was the big guy you were most likely to not like. So I sent you one of his fights.
He grew on me.
But
and then he stopped.
When he fought Justin Gaethje, he switched the submission that he was gonna. He knew what submission he was going to finish him with. He let go of an arm bar because he didn't want to break the guy's arm in front of his family, and choked him out. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what the submission was. I think it was a choke.
I watched that fight too. Because I remember
he literally had him in the arm bar. I was like, nah, like I don't want to break his arm. His family's here, and then he just choked him out.
Oh my God.
Like, can you imagine having that much control over another professional fighter? Someone that talented, too, who's challenging for your belt?
Wow. That's incredible.
That fight's funny, too, because Gaethje's rocking him with leg kicks.
Yeah.
And Khabib's just getting frustrated, but he keeps marching right at him. Like, there's a couple where he's like, ugh, and he just, like, runs back up to him and just goes, punch, 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 tackle. And
brings him down.
Doing it for Mother Russia.
That was his last one, right?
Gaethje, yeah. Gaethje's the end.
That one I watched. I guess I watched those 3 when they came out.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it really stinks he isn't fighting anymore.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see if anybody could have challenged him.
What a humble reason, though, that his dad died, and if it wasn't in his corner, he didn't want to, but he owed the fight to Justin Gaethje.
Right.
He wouldn't do that shit for Conor, and that's what makes it so funny. Like he's such a humble dude, and Conor tried to make him out like he was the villain the whole time.
Yeah.
But wow. Well, this has been the whole time that we're gonna have opinions, I guess.
I suppose that was a good one.
Next episode will be Kyle's choice. I think we should do a few of these. These are just us shooting our influences out there.
That's very fun.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to Have an Opinion, and screw you, Kyle, for not taking the time to watch that fight. We'll see you later.